Hi everybody, this is Armando with Success Tutoring. We are a private tutoring center located in Burbank, California, and we are located just a few minutes from downtown Burbank, 5 minutes from downtown, about just a few minutes away from world famous Warner Brothers and Disney Studios. And for those that are familiar with the area, we are right across the street from John Burroughs High School and about a 5-minute drive from Burbank High School. In addition to our one-to-one tutoring for all ages, all subjects, we are this summer also providing a language arts and math review workshop for students ages for the grades 2 through 5, as well as SAT prep and ACT prep for those students that are going to be taking that. But today, what I want to do is I want to discuss another class that we're going to be providing, which is an introduction to CAD. That's computer-aided design. By the way, if you think that any of your friends or family may be interested in this, feel free to send them the link to this video, and hopefully they will also join in, and they'll also be able to send in questions. So also feel free to send in your questions. Just type them in, and we will try our best to answer all the questions as fully as we can. So now, first what I want to do is I want to introduce one of our tutors, JJ. He's the one that's going to be instructing the Introduction to CAD class. Before I bring him on, I want to let you know a little bit about him and some of his experience and qualifications. I'm going to read a short bio about him, and that also lets you know a little bit about not only him, but the caliber of tutors that we have here at Success Tutoring. So after graduating with a meteorology degree, JJ was offered a teaching position in physical science/physics and soon thereafter became a certified teacher. After the C.A.D Academy and Aerospace and Engineering in Connecticut, he accepted a position at the C.A.D Medical and Education Academy, where he taught high school students a class called Extreme Physics of the Human Body. Now, that sounds pretty interesting, doesn't it? His class conducted an experiment on a roller coaster at Six Flags, New England. That experiment was featured on Discovery Channel's Daily Planet. He was then hired to work for Six Flags as an education consultant, and while there, JJ wrote the Science Adventure program for the parks. Engineering gradually worked its way into his professional experience, and he enrolled in CAD, computer-aided design classes. Soon thereafter, he was accepted into a Master of Engineering program, and CAD basically seems to have become part of JJ's life as he regularly uses his skills to help others create original prototypes and designs. So this is JJ, and now, and just adjust this here. Okay, this is JJ. Now, what do you mean by you help others to create original prototypes and designs? What do you mean by that?
Well, basically, when you get into the design field, as many know who are already in it, there comes a time where you're going to want to create a prototype. Now, sometimes that is just a model, something that's made out of clay, or made out of even something as simple as Legos. The idea is you could scan that design or prototype and then import it digitally into a computer software. That's helpful, but there's not a lot of editing that you can do unless you pay for some serious software. So what I tend to do is take something that somebody wants that's a physical object, measure it out, get some dimensions, and then basically generate a digital design, if you will, of that actual object. And I've done that for quite a few different examples in my background. My wife alone is a designer and an artist, so I've actually taught her how to do this, and now she does it on her own, which is pretty helpful.
Very good. All right, now CAD stands for Computer-Aided Design. What was your original idea or motivation for learning about CAD?
Well, it's kind of an engineering must. So if you are going to become an engineer, it's one of those skills that at most universities would require you to not only learn in their program but develop throughout your career. The technology is always changing, so you just never know what you just never know what you're going to run into. And it's really helpful, of course, when you know how to operate the software. So yeah, when I learned it, it was pretty neat, and it's pretty involved. So yeah, I just actually like sharing it with other people.
All right, very good. So now it's my understanding that CAD CAD classes can be very technical, and there's a long learning curve, and it can be pretty difficult. So now, is that the case with most CAD classes?
Well, most of them are offered at the college level. You're already enrolled in an engineering degree, and that's where they're going to teach you. So you're going to be taught at a college caliber. Pretty basic right there. So college is not supposed to be easy, and therefore a lot of the classes will not be that easy. However, it's a really rewarding experience when you do it that way, because when you're done, you feel like, wow, I really have a lot of skills. The problem is, this even happened in my case, I had to enroll in a university just to even get CAD experience. It's something that's not really readily available out there.
All right, very good. So, and I'm also, my understanding that most CAD software programs, if you wanted to go out and just purchase professional level CAD software programs, they can be pretty expensive.
Oh yeah, yeah, you could pay thousands of dollars a year to keep your CAD program up to date. Doesn't always happen that way. There are ways to get student editions of softwares and such, and there's just a lot of different methods out there to attain software. But the bottom line is that at the end of the day, it can get very, very expensive. Yep.
Oh, all right, very good. All right, and for those of you that may be joining us here recently, once again, this is Armando Salcido with Success Tutoring, Private Tutoring Center, and we are, in addition to a number of different programs that we are offering this summer, we are offering an Introduction to CAD class, and with me today is JJ, the tutor that we have that's going to be the instructor for that class. Do feel free to ask questions. We were going to do our best to try to answer all the questions. And also wanted to let you know that next Monday, June 5th, at 12:30 p.m., during lunchtime, yes, what we will be doing is another Facebook Live event. And during that event, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be showing some actual examples of the program and how it works. So again, feel free to send in your questions, and we will do our best to answer them. Okay, so let's see here. Other questions here, let's see. Now, oh, by the way, just in regard to this live session here, obviously we're not going to be live here forever and ever here. We're just here for a short amount of time. And but after the live session is completed, will somebody be able to send in questions, ask questions so that they can be answered?
Yeah, what we're hoping to have occur is if you ask a question anywhere on the message board, even whether it's now during this live session or afterwards, we'll still see it and get back to you with an answer to your question. So regardless of whether you ask it live or later, we'll get it. We'll get it as long as you use the facebook.com/success tutoring site. We're going to get it. We'll get your question. We'll answer it for you.
Very good. And that's the idea. We just want to make this open and available so that people can come in, join, ask questions, even if it's done later, and so that we can tell people about the program, or actually about any other program that we have available during the summer, because like I said, we have, in addition to the Introduction to CAD, we have our regular one-to-one tutoring. We have our, and by the way, that's for all ages and all subjects. JJ happens to be just one of our math tutors that go all the way up through advanced calculus and physics. We have other tutors that also go all the way up through advanced calculus, chemistry, biology. We have a one tutor that's actually got her master's in biology. And we also work with students that are younger, from even to learning to read, elementary English, math, etc. And during the summer, what we're doing is we're offering a math and language arts review workshop for students that, let's say you completed the 4th grade, and you want to basically practice and review all the material that you learned during the 4th grade, so that when you go into school in the 5th grade, it's all fresh and you're good to go. You see, you'll actually have an advantage over other students that did not do that. So those are a number of different. Oh, and also we're going to have a SAT prep for students, and that can be done with 2 formats: either in a classroom setting, which is more economical, or on a one-to-one basis. So if you have a very intricate schedule, we can see what we can do to adapt to that schedule, fit it in, but that would be more one-to-one. If you can work out a regular schedule, the SAT class might be a better way to go. So anyway, now coming back to the Introduction to CAD class, let me ask you, JJ, what makes our Introduction to CAD program class different from other classes?
Well, for the most part, it starts with price, because money's a thing, right? So if you want to learn CAD and you're going to learn at the university level, then you're going to pay the university price. So even if you're an undergrad, I mean, we're talking at 3 credits, anywhere at minimum of $1,000, you know, to take a class. And obviously we know how expensive college can get. At the same time, you can take online self-guided classes, and you can use YouTube and all sorts of media out there to teach yourself. And the typical response is, wow, I was able to do it, but it takes a long time. Now, granted, if you have a lot of time, it's not the worst thing, trial and error and whatnot. But many people who have learned CAD in the past have said it's just so much more helpful when you have somebody right there with you. Now, granted, you would maybe get that at the college level, but remember, you're going to be in a class with, at minimum, I think even my class had like 24 other students. So even though it's, there's a person there with you, to have them working with you is well, I'm going to raise my hand and hope that they make it over. So in our environment, you're learning an introduction to CAD, but at the same time, it's pretty awesome because you're getting that one-on-one experience. Even if it's, a couple other people in your class, it's not going to feel like you're one in a handful of people where you're not going to get your questions answered. And I feel like that's what we do pretty well. We're going to have somebody stationed with you so that you're going to feel confident that you can do this.
Right, good. Now, another thing, too, is that the format of the class that we'll be delivering is going to be self-paced. So if you need a little bit more work, a little bit more time to actually work on a particular exercise to get familiar with it and master that, you can do that, not feel like you have to rush to catch up with the rest of the class. However, even though it's self-paced, we have JJ there as an instructor to basically monitor, see how you're doing, be available for any questions, guide you, etc. So basically we're getting the best of both worlds in the way the class is structured.
For sure.
All right, so now, so what is required? What are the requirements for this class, the Introduction to CAD class?
Well, I mean, first of all, you're going to want to have a computer with internet access, and you're going to want to have a mouse. A lot of people prefer to use a mouse in hand when they're learning how to operate a CAD system. Mouse pads work. I've done work on an Apple computer before with a mouse pad, and it works, but when you're learning, it's very helpful to have a mouse, especially because our program is only designed to be 8 hours long at the introduction. You're going to want to have training with a mouse during that time. Trying to go between one and the other can just add a substantial amount of time that it takes to learn the software.
Good. So
Yeah.
the mouse actually gives you a little bit more added control. Is that correct?
Yes, I agree. I would say that it gives you much more precise control, especially when you're trying to view three-dimensional images. It can be a real pain trying to use a mouse pad. So it's not undoable. I've actually worked with a mouse pad many times, but then again, I've also been doing this for a while. So when you're learning it for the first time, you want to have a lot of control. That's
The most
yeah.
help you can get.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so now once somebody actually creates an object, let's say a three-dimensional object,
Mhm.
then is it going to be set up so that a student can actually create an object and then actually have it 3D printed?
Oh, sure. Yeah, we can export it for you. So if you are interested in, say, creating a little figure of, I had a student wanted to kind of build a house. Now, granted, a 3D printer is only so big, so you're not going to be able to print an entire house. But we were able to print, or if we wanted to, print a model of it, and that's totally doable. What the good thing that I really enjoy about teaching CAD is that kind of what goes hand in hand is learning how to 3D print as well. Obviously, a really, in my opinion, a very cool thing for the 21st century to have in your arsenal, being able to do both, because we know that these are technologies that they're not going away. In fact, they're being developed because they are printing homes right now, real houses.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, so it's something that's really valuable to you going forth. Yeah.
Now, to learn CAD, is this something that really only someone that's going to go into engineering should learn how to do?
I would say a good portion of our students would be potential engineers, but then again, CAD stretches so many different areas. Now, artists, of course, I've spoken with a number of career artists that are just really into what they do, and they do, in my opinion, a pretty amazing job at creating a digital environment and working in it. But they all say pretty much the same thing. They wish they learned CAD earlier in their careers. So obviously, you don't just have to be an engineer. You can be an artist. You can be in graphic design. The more tools you have, the better. And to be honest, this is actually a really, in my opinion, inexpensive way to add a very useful tool to your arsenal.
Very good.
Yeah.
Now, so we mentioned engineers, and then you also mentioned artists. So,
Yes.
who else uses CAD, or who would it be good for?
Well, the point is that anyone that's going to be designing something in their career, you can be an architect, you could be like I said, any branch of engineering, which now just stretches so much. But doctors even are starting to get into this stuff because they're printing organs in 3D printing, or using 3D printers to print organs for people. So, I mean, this is all CAD related. It all comes from somewhere, and you're going to need somebody to, either kind of pass the reins to you and let you do some designing, or you're going to have to trust that they know what they're doing before you get the image. So, I mean, we're seeing it everywhere. Even in I've seen a few years back the new technology that they're using to monitor earthquakes, for instance. They're now using this system that projects a three-dimensional image that they have to navigate through, and they do it in a room filled with projectors. So just the mouse skills that you will learn here can be used, going forth. So you don't have to just be 100% CAD dedicated. You can use these skills in so many other technologies that are out there.
Very good, very good. Now, so we've also discussed the fact that it's actually CAD classes are usually taught at a university level.
Yes.
That can be used for engineers. You mentioned in the medical profession, they are printing actual human organs.
Sure.
And yet, this particular CAD class, Introduction to CAD class, we're making available all the way to as young as middle school students. Now, how is that possible?
Well, the beauty of what we're doing is we are kind of tapping into the free software environment that's available online. It's no secret. We want children when they're younger to want to be a part of STEM fields when they get older. So there's a lot of grants out there and a lot of money that's been used to get technologies readily available to children. And so it's a good thing. We will be primarily focused on using a technology that will actually use basic shapes and let you edit those shapes to create larger ones. And that's pretty awesome because I wish I had that when I was a kid. So when it comes to the younger generation, you'd actually be surprised how quickly they can pick it up. Students are, besides fidget spinners, are using all sorts of other things on a daily basis that we as adults we can't fully comprehend what they're capable of doing. So you'd be amazed when I've put a C.A.D software environment in front of some students who are in 7th grade or 8th grade. They jump right in and they want to start creating, and you quickly realize that there's a lot of potential here. So it's actually funny. I feel like it's almost an advantage to be younger,
right?
Because you grow up in this environment. Now, I will say that I feel privileged that I grew up in the age where technology was introduced. But these students who are immersed in it 24/7, they're ready to go. And I've seen some of the students work already, and they're pretty, in my opinion, pretty happy with their outcomes. So that's pretty neat.
Now, I believe you had one student you were working with briefly. I think 7th or 8th grade student that actually wanted to create and design a helicopter.
Oh yeah, yep.
And
yep.
How did that go?
Well, it was funny because I think that when they first started out, they thought it was kind of a joke. Like they may have said, like, I want to create a helicopter, figuring that there was no way that I was going to be able to teach them how to do that. But then, sure enough, not too long afterwards, we started jumping in, and I showed them a couple tricks that could save them a lot of time. For instance, mirroring objects so that you could, instead of creating a full circle, you create half of a helicopter and then kind of flip it over to the other side. Anyone who knows C.A.D knows this is not that hard to do. But I was showing it to them, and I think they were amazed at actually how quickly, even though I would probably not have trusted the aerodynamics of the helicopter right from the get-go, I would still be, I think the students were pretty excited by the fact that they even had a rough sketch of a helicopter within minutes that they could use just by having some basic C.A.D skills, which is pretty neat.
Very good, very good.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, and again, this is the Introduction to C.A.D class that we're providing. Now, what if somebody wants to go beyond the Introduction to C.A.D class? What options do they have here at Success Tutoring?
Well, we're still in development stages in terms of the future, but what I really like is that we have this introductory class available that you can become a part of with a small group of other students. At that point, after completing 8 hours worth of
initial training,
the initial training, I guess you could say, using one software, we can continue to teach you with that software. There's an endless amount of things that you can learn when you use C.A.D. I mean, that's the point. That's why it's so helpful to us in the 21st century, because there's so much that can be done with it. Now, if you really want to take it a step further, there are other free software packages out there that we can teach you. Now, we will most likely recommend that you do that part one-on-one, not necessarily in a small class environment, but a true one-on-one environment. Because the things that we were talking about earlier, like basic shapes, like say like a cube or a cylinder, those things have to be built from the ground up when you're using a more robust C.A.D program. It's not that hard to do, don't get me wrong, once you learn the introduction, but it's still, there's a pretty steep learning curve between using basic shapes and going to the next level. It really does help to have somebody there with you, teaching you.
Very good.
Yeah.
So then the skills that a student would learn on the Introduction to C.A.D basically would help them if they want to get serious about this and they want to actually take it at a university professional level, those same skills that they're going to be learning on the Introduction to CAD class that we have here, basically they would be using those same skills, and then in fact would make it easier, more beneficial for them in that higher level, more professional class. Is that correct?
Yeah, I would say that is definitely the case, because when you get to a higher level and you're using something that okay, like we've used this example before. Let's say you wanted to design an airfoil, like the actual wing to an airplane. Not to say, not to discredit the future of high-speed rail or anything like that. It's just that that an aerospace company is going to use a CAD software that can also simulate some environments for them, so they could actually send quote-unquote wind or a fluid over that wing. Now, I won't get into too much technical detail there. It's just that it's somewhat helpful to be able to have an environment where there isn't so much simulation going on. There's not, you don't have this huge array. You have a very simplified version to learn off of. Because once you learn those basics, then you can start to explore the other things that these more bona fide CAD programs have in them.
Very good, very good.
Yeah.
All right, I do have a reminder here that if you want more information, you can actually reach Success Tutoring by calling 818-557-7379.
We do appreciate, too. We've seen some shares in the message boards.
Yeah, definitely. Want to actually thank you very much for those, for joining us and for sharing this. We want to also let you know that it is going to be available even after we sign off here. It will be available on our Facebook page and be available to be shared. And you can also send in questions later, and we will try our best to answer them. So,
yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
And let's see here. I just wanted to thank you very much for joining us this morning. And for those that sent in questions, thank you very much for participating. We hope that you have found it helpful. And again, feel free to share the link to this video to any friends or family that you think may find this of interest. And don't forget to like our Success Tutoring Facebook page for announcements of other live Facebook Live events, as well as other events. And again,
we have some good stuff coming up, that's for sure.
Exactly,
very exciting.
And also, as another reminder, next Monday at 12:30 p.m., so during lunchtime, Monday, we will have another Facebook Live event. And during that event, what we're going to do is we're going to actually show a demonstration of the CAD program and how it works. So until then, I think we're signing off here. And once again, thank you very much. And thank you very much, JJ, for joining us.
Thank you. This is great. I'm really excited.
Very good
stuff.
All right, very good. Thanks a lot. Bye.